opposition parties. Is there enough leadership talent to take power? Are you saying that the government is right when they say that there isn't enough talent in Singapore?
I can't speak for other opposition parties, but if you are looking at the Workers' Party, the Workers' Party's leadership currently do not have the capability to take over the government. And in any case, we are filling probably about 23 seats or so. So in no way that the Workers' Party can take over the government. If you're talking about long-term moving forward, well, that has to be decided by the voters. If the voter thinks that it is desirable for Singapore to have a multi-party system, then perhaps the voter have to answer that by voting in more opposition members. But if we see the return only perhaps a few opposition members to parliament after each election, I think you got the answer. So I'm not able to predict how the voters vote. We will respect the verdict of the voters.
Are you open to forming a government with other opposition parties at some point?
Well, I don't think I want to answer a hypothetical question. When it comes to that, then we think about it. All right, Eddie? Yes.
Can I ask Mr. Chen, coming back to Singapore to contest elections, I mean, besides, say, the broad ideas about having, say, an alternative and, say, greater variety in the Singapore political scene, are there any specific issues in Singapore that bothers you, which perhaps has prompted you to step forward, say, now, and not 4 years ago, or perhaps 4 or 5 years into the future?
What we're talking about here really affects all the policies that get made, Kevin, in Singapore. I had given the example before of our immigration and population policy. Arguably, the most significant policy in recent years that had implications for Singaporeans in terms of jobs, wages, housing, property prices, transportation, schools, living space, culture shock. And yet, do we have robust parliamentary debate or discussion on this, on the 6.5 million of planning parameter that was used apparently for the formulation of the policy? I mean, when did this become our policy? What was our policy? Has it been changed? It would help, I think, if we had more discussion, more debate, greater transparency before the relevant policies were put into effect.
Can you share with us how many children do you have? Are they Singaporean? What age are they? Do you have any boys? And if you do they serve national service?
Where are you from?
Sorry, I'm Zilia from Straits Times.
From Straits Times. Yes. I have 3 children. Boy, girl, in that order. The oldest one, the boy, is 10 years old. He'll be 11 in July. The youngest one is 7 years old. Our middle child is no longer with us. She passed away shortly before her 4th birthday. And yes, they are Singaporeans. And what other questions?
Can you tell us more about your wife too? Is she Singaporean? What is she doing now?
Yes. My wife is a homemaker. She has her hands full taking care of the children. She was born in Taiwan, but grew up in Indonesia. and moved with her family to the United States, where she went to school. She also went to school in the UK. My wife is a U.S. citizen. My boy we expect to move back to Singapore. So like me, he'll be going to school in Singapore, and he would when he's 18 do his national service. I had a choice, and he, because of his mother, I think is entitled to American citizenship. So it's a decision he will need to make when he's 18. I would certainly hope that he would decide to do what I did, but I expect I will leave it up to him.
罗先生，这是我们今天最后一场就是候选人介绍会。那么星期三就是提名日了，大家可以总结一下你们至今就是候选人的素质或者说实话，想跟我们说。那么陈先生就是你本身在国外生活很多年，那么你们的候选人也说过，过去几年呢就是新加坡就是面临很大的改变。那你觉得你对新加坡了解多深，那可以帮候选人怎么改变他们的人生？
我们今天是最后一场介绍候选人。这一届大选，共产党所推出的候选人都是比较成熟的候选人。那么大家也看到，我们的候选人都有诚意，也让大家清楚知道他们的背景、他们的履历，各位也可以公开的问他们问题。所以我们不像行动党所说的躲在背后，而工人党当然身为反对党，我们的候选人都会面对严峻的挑战。不像行动党呢，有他的部长呢，还是季选区呢，可以就可能呢比较容易一点的走入国会，走进国会。所以呢，我希望新加坡选民呢，好好的看一看我们工人党的候选人，希望新加坡选民给工人党候选人一个机会，希望我们会迈向第14届国会。
Can you repeat that in English, please?
I don't think I would translate that into English because I think I got a problem of switching that to think of what I say and translate at the same time. I think you go ahead.
But the last bit was towards the first word. The question was, with my being away for so many years, how would I expect to identify with or understand the problems of my potential constituents? And I've certainly given it some thought. Maybe the easiest way is to share with you the things that went through my head as I thought about this. At first, I was quite worried when I read in the papers that I had been away from Singapore for 40 years out of the 50 that I've been alive. Then I was a little relieved when I realized that 10 of those years, I was in diapers and shorts and didn't really know probably what was going on. So that didn't make too much of a difference, I hope. After my ROD from the army, it was not as if I sat down and I decided that, I will leave my home for 30 years and come back after that, or not come back after that. My parents, they were here and they are still here. This is our home. My sister is here. She's my only sibling. And her family is here. This is home to me. When I ROD'd, it was really it was really that one decision that had to be made then, and that had to do with going to university, which university to go to, whether there was scholarship to go to that university, whether there was financial aid to enable me to attend university. And I made my decision on that basis. Following my years at Harvard, same sort of things happened. Availability of scholarships, educational opportunities, financial aid, opportunities for professional training, and things like that. When I decided, after many years of schooling, on a profession, and became a business lawyer, a corporate lawyer, who focused on capital markets transactions, that decision also led to my spending quite a bit of time away from home, because that's where the professional opportunities were. That's where the professional challenges were. So I've spent all this time abroad, but that doesn't mean I've stopped being Singaporean. And many of us, overseas Singaporeans, and there's quite a number of us, we keep in touch with what's going on in Singapore. It's a big part of our of how we feel about ourselves, that we're Singaporeans. And while we're not here, we are playing a role overseas as ambassadors for our country. And the sense of being Singaporean, for many of us, is enhanced rather than diluted as we stay overseas and we interact with people. We tell them about Singapore. We try to project a good image of Singapore. And I ask myself, so will I be able to understand a resident if he has some questions about government policies in Singapore? And when I read this letter that was sent to me by the government, as it was sent to all Singaporeans, I felt more confident of my ability to do that. Here's a letter from the Ministry of Finance. It's Grow and Share. It's addressed to all Singaporeans, Chen Shou Mao, and my address in Singapore. So I'm a Singaporean with a Singapore address. If the government needs to get in touch with me, they can do so easily. So I feel reassured. Dear Sir, as part of the budget 2011, you are eligible to receive the personal benefits in Table 1, and your household may also enjoy the benefits of Table 2. Growth dividend, I ask myself, do I know what that's all about? I do. CPF MediSave top-up, yes, I know that only people who are 45 years old or older are eligible for that. Table 2, household benefits. Radio and TV license fee, I know what that's about. For HDB households. Now, we haven't lived in an HDB flat for over 30 years, but before that, we had lived in public housing built by the Lim Yew Hock government in Alexandra. And we had lived in a HDB flat in Toa Payoh. But for HDB households, USAVE rebate. I know what that's about. That's about utilities. S&CC rebate. I know what that's about. That's service and conservancy charges, rental rebate. And for households with children, child development credit and EduSave top-up. One is for children below the age of 6. The other is for children in primary and secondary schools. I felt more confident that I know what Singaporeans have to deal with. The second paragraph, as you have signed up previously, your growth dividend will be credited to your POSB bank account, number XXI. So, I know enough to have signed up previously, and I have a POSB account. So, for residents who don't, I'm able to give them good advice. Finally, the letter comes from Ms. Chan Lai Fong, who's the Perm Sec for Finance and Performance in the Ministry of Finance. As luck would have it, I know Ms. Chan. I had called upon her, in her office a few years ago. So if the residents have questions that I can't answer, any questions, I'll be able to, and I will try to get in touch with Ms. Chan and find the answer. I don't think I'll be lost. I think I'll be a good MP. And don't forget, I'm not standing for election on my own. I'm standing to be elected as a Workers' Party candidate. We have a team. We have a party to serve the residents of our constituencies. But more importantly, this election is not about me only. It's about us. It's about our future. It's about the direction in which we would like Singapore to go. And here I am, imperfect as I am. I offer myself to you so that you have a choice. You have a say in your future.